Peace, divine family. Peace to all the divine people out there, all the divine souls. Everybody's divine. I am back with this transmission. This is a transmission on understanding the soul, understanding your purpose, tapping into why you incarnated on this planet, also understanding what the planets have to do with this incarnation and how the planets influence everything around us when it comes to money, finances, emotions, actions, conflicts, wars, inventions, creativity, anything that you can name it. You know what I mean? I'm breaking down my shirt, basically what I got on. You know what I mean? Start off with the sun. You know what I mean? I just made this shirt yesterday, so got to tap in with the shirts. We got the shirts on deck. You know what I mean? But today, I'm basically just gonna be breaking down how to also explaining how to merge numerology and astrology personally. You know what I'm saying? How to personally merge your numerology and your astrology together, along with your planetary energies. You know what I'm saying? To really see where you're vibrating at on this field and where you should be vibrating at on this path to the source. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to understanding that we live in a physical reality, everything in this physical reality is a fragment or fraction or fractal of the creator. You know what I mean? So everything that you can experience is a fractal of the creator, and it's a different path to the creator. And when things start moving out of alignment to what they're programmed to be, the fractal that they are, then that fractal doesn't get back to source, and the source doesn't get back a piece of the soul. This is why no souls left behind. You know what I mean? No souls left behind is the mantra. That's why a lot of souls incarnated on this planet right now to help recrystallize Christ consciousness on this vibration so that we could raise the frequency again and basically get all the souls back to source, get all the fractals back into the crystal. You know what I mean? That we're refragmenting or unfragmenting reality by bringing things together, called unification. That's called wholeness. That's called the law of one. That's what is the original so-called religion or original spiritual system in the planetary galaxy, is the law of one. This law of one was what created the the Galactic Federation. You know what I mean? So when it comes to understanding that, basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm about to be bringing all that in together. But understanding that personally, that you have your own purpose on this planet, and everybody's purpose is not the same. Like, my purpose is to be a teacher. You know what I mean? My purpose is to use my throat chakra for whatever I have to use it for enlightenment, for truth. You know what I mean? Everybody has a purpose. And by breaking down somebody's numerology and astrology and merging them two together along with the planetary energies, you can see why some people are in the position they are in. You know what I mean? You can see why some people are naturally gifted at certain things based on the planetary energies they are born under and led by. You know what I mean? I am a being led by the planetary energies numerically by Jupiter. So numerically, I have a strong Jupiter energy. You know what I'm saying? This Jupiter energy is connected. My bad. This Jupiter energy is connected to the throat chakra. You know what I mean? Your throat chakra. So we got to think about it like this, right? You have the 7 planetary energies, right? You have the 7 days of the week. Each planetary energy corresponds to the days of the week. You also have the 7 chakras. So you have the sun, right? You have the sun. That's the first chakra. 2, you have the moon. That's the second chakra. 3rd, the 3rd chakra is Mars, but it's actually ruled by the number 9. You know what I mean? The 4th chakra is Mercury. Who's the Egyptian god that's ruled by Mercury? Thoth, right? And Thoth is said to have been the creator of the what tablets? The emerald tablets, the green tablets. And the Mercury energy is directly connected to the heart chakra. You know what I mean? So it makes you think about the connection of the mercurial aspects of Thoth himself. And also you gotta think about the minds. The mental stargate is controlled by the sun, which is the fourth stargate. You know what I mean? So all those connections, mind, thoughts, Thoth. The heart, or the fourth dimension, also the fourth chakra, is where all your imaginations and the astral realm, the thought realm comes from. You know what I mean? Thought, Thoth, Mercury, fourth chakra. Fifth chakra is Jupiter. And also to remember that Mercury is ruled by the number 5. You know what I mean? But it's connected to the fourth chakra. Those two together, you get the number 9. You have the Jupiter, it's actually controlled by the number 3, right? So if you are light path 3, if you are born on the day of the 3, or the year that you equals 3, or you're born in March, you have this Jupiter energy with you. You know what I'm saying? At all times, or this archangel with you at all times, right? This is how you could see what kind of angels and angelic beings are dictating your life, because everything is dictated by angles of light. We are all angles of light. These planetary energies are angles of light that create the reality, right? So every angle of light is an angel, archangel. You know what I mean? That's exactly what we are descendants of. So the fifth chakra is connected to Jupiter, right? And if you want to look at most of people who have this Jupiter energy, like I am a light path 3. I'm born October 29th, 1998, right? My light path is 3, and I'm also born on a Thursday. Thursday is ruled by the planet Jupiter in the number 3. You know what I mean? So I have this 3 energy strongly inside of my chart and inside of my numerology, meaning that my throat chakra is very activated. You know what I mean? And also, not only that, this 5th chakra of body, the 5th dimension, was also deals with sound, light. It's connected to the soul. I can speak from there. You know what I mean? The 5th dimension is where the soul matrix starts at. You know what I mean? That's where basically that's where the humans actually were created in, the 5th dimension. You know what I'm saying? The 5th chakra. But the 5th chakra basically dictates all the dimensions below it. You know what I'm saying? And the 5th chakra is directly connected to truth, right? So whenever you are speaking truth, you can actually vibrate and dictate all of the dimensions down, because we live inside the 3rd dimension, right? But the sound is what creates vibration. The sound is what creates physical reality. Like, vibration is sound. Vibration is what creates things that are physical. So your voice box, aka your 5th chakra, also known in men as the Atom's apple, can control physical reality. You know what I'm saying? Almost like magic. That's why they teach you how to spell in school. When you spell, you speak. Spell, speak, all have the SP inside of it. This SP is for special abilities. You know what I'm saying? That SP energy is dictating to higher realms of energy, like super, SP, supreme. SPs dictate higher energies, right? So, about to go on to the next one. The 6th chakra is Venus. But Venus is controlled by the number 6. You see that? So Venus is the 6th chakra, connected to the 6th chakra, and is also controlled by the number of 6. So in the day of Friday, you know what I'm saying? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So if you are born on the 6th, the 24th, the 6th, or the 15th, you have the strong Venusian energy. Or you're born on June, you know what I'm saying? because June is the 6th month. So June, and people who have this 6th energy are very connected to the Venus energy. That means they're very Venusian. And this actually, this Venus energy is what creates the physical reality and creates your pleasures, creates your emotions. Your energy in motion is created by this Venusian energy. You know what I'm saying? This Venusian energy is the planetary frequency, the angle of light, the angel that controls pleasures. You know what I'm saying? And anything on the polar opposite of that also. Anything that these planets control also have a polar opposite that can be inverted. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's what has been being done on this planet today. Inversion of Christ consciousness and a version of truth, you know what I mean, which is lies. So, another thing that a lot of people won't tell you, that these planetary energies are fragments of the true soul, the true planetary energy. Like, basically all the planets inside of the solar system used to be a part of the original planet called Tara. Earth is a fragmentation of Tara. That's why it's so many different life forms on this planet, but in the original dimension, Earth is composed of all these planetary energies, including, I didn't get to Saturday. Including Saturday, which is controlled by the number 8, which creates all of the physical realms. It slows down all time and creates time. Saturn creates time, so that means to slow down vibrations. It's the slowest moving out of the gas. One of the slowest moving out of the gas bodies, but it controls time. You know what I mean? That's why they have something called the Saturn Moon Matrix. The connection between Saturn and the Moon creates this kind of matrix. You know what I mean? And the matrix is the binary code, because Saturn, which is the number 8, plus the Moon, which is controlled by the number 2, equals 10, which creates the binary code for computer programming. So this relationship between Saturn and Moon creates the matrix. You know what I'm saying? The artificial matrix that's built on duality. You know what I mean? That's built on good and bad. That's built on programming. You know what I mean? That's the download for that. But that's with the rings around Saturn create all of the, basically your aura fields. Like for every one of these planetary energies, the sun, the moon, you have an aura field directly connected to that planetary energy. And not to mention also the constellations. You know what I mean? If your soul is that big, you also have most people's souls, everybody has connections to also constellations too, outside of these planetary energies. That's when you get into the Scorpios and the stuff like that. And that depends on what planetary energy you're ruled by, because the zodiac sign, Scorpio, Aquarius, Libra, Cancer, they're all ruled by planetary energies. You know what I mean? So, since they're all ruled by planetary energies, where's the... My bad, y'all. So right now I'm about to show you that something. So right now I'm about to show y'all. Okay. So yes, so for every one of these planetary energies, it creates an aura field around you. You have these different layers of aura, and based on basically the day you was born, one of these aura fields are stronger. You know what I mean? Here's you. Here's the sun's aura field, moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn. You see how Saturn is on the outside? Saturn creates all the rings around the planetary body. You are the main planetary body with the Kundalini snake running up through your spine. You know what I mean? So also understanding that your zodiac sign is dictated upon basically what planetary energy you are born with. Say, if you are a Scorpio, Scorpio is ruled by planetary energies, Mars and Pluto, right? So the planetary energies of Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So Scorpios have a strong 9 energy. So I am a Scorpio. I have the strong 9 energy, which means I can take things to the extreme, and also I can bring things together. You know what I mean? Also I have the strong, good hand-eye coordination, hand and eye coordination. You know what I mean? 9 energies are connected to Mars, and Mars is connected to the head also. So that means that people who have strong Mars energies, they can basically stick to their own vision. You know what I'm saying? They could block out other people's energies of vision. It deals with the number of completion also. You know what I'm saying? You also have, let's say Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. You know what I mean? Cancer is ruled by the planetary energy of the moon, and is controlled by the element of the water also, just like Scorpio. Right? The moon, psychic energy. Cancer is looked at as the crab. You know what I'm saying? The crab connects to the moon energy and is like the home body. It moves inside of a shell. It's like the big moving body of water is the Cancer energy, the moon. You know what I mean? So people who have this Cancer energy are real in tune with pulls on frequency from the moon and other people's energy, because everything has a magnetic pull to it. You know what I mean? Especially humans. So that means they can be pulled on by other people's magnetic fields. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad thing. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being sensitive in a world like this, water signs can be very heavily affected by frequencies and negative emotions just by walking into a room. They don't even have to experience what happened. They can just experience the energy, and it affects them on a cellular level, because the cells are liquid crystals. You know what I mean? So water signs, or people just planetary energy that's connected to the water, can be heavily affected by frequencies. This is why it's good to know your planetary energies and your purpose, because you can use this to map out your whole life. Use this energy to map out basically what will you excel in. Like, so it's basically put out like this. You could have 10 life paths. You could have somebody with life path 1, life path 2, life path 3, 4, all the way down to 9, right? You could all have them make a song, right? Not every 9 times out of 10, the person who will make the best song will be a life path 3, life path 5, or life path 11, 22, or 33. You know what I mean? Because there are actually 12 life paths. You have the master number life path, which are 11, 22, and 33. So if you're born on the 29th, you're born on the 11th, you are born on the 22nd, or your birthday equals up to 33, you have a life path, you have a master number inside of your chart, and it gives you an aspect outside of reality. It gives you the ability to pull on energies outside of the first 9 numbers. You know what I mean? But understanding that, you can basically use that to get back on your timeline, because a lot of people are misplaced on their timeline because they're not making decisions based on their own energy current, because they're being influenced by other people's energies. You know what I mean? So then they get off track with their energy because they're following other people's planetary energies. So they might see somebody else, a rapper, and not knowing that that person is meant to be a rapper, and try to follow that person. And then you have a whole group of people that are following after somebody that's not even inside their light signature. So all these planets are lights, and you have your own light signature that you're supposed to follow. Like, say, and it's not like dictated upon, like, you know what I'm saying, a profession. Is dictated upon your ability to basically create or produce anything. Like a person who is ruled by Jupiter, like I'm ruled by Jupiter, so I'm also born on Thursday, which is ruled by Jupiter. So I have this strong Jupiter energy. My throat chakra is activated. So by me, I could do anything when it comes. That means personally, I should do anything and it pertains when it comes to speaking. You know what I mean? That's on the numerical side. On the physical side, it comes on the astrological side. It comes from, I should be doing something that's creative because of my Scorpio energy and my Venus. Because Scorpio is ruled by planets Mars and Pluto, but the yin and yang of Scorpio is Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? And this Mars and Venus are sister planet. Are yin and yang. So when it comes to understanding that, astrologically, energetically, I'm connected to creating, you know what I'm saying, producing, protecting, because the Mars energy is in Scorpio. That's why I create things that protect the aura. I create things that protect the aura, like this pyramid. You know what I mean? I created things that protect the aura. I use my hands to create things out of the mind, right? Because Aries is controlled by the head to create things, to create physical things to protect people's energy field. You know what I mean? So, but when it comes to numerically, basically, I could do anything that's with speaking, anything that's with voicing out, you know what I'm saying, things from the soul, especially when it comes to truth. You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of people with this life path 3 energy, they do speak truth. Like, look at Kendrick Lamar is a life path 3. You know what I mean? He is one of the most truthful speaking rappers. You know what I'm saying? Mainstream. When it comes to being mainstream, he's one of the most, you know what I'm saying, outspoken when it comes to truth in the mainstream. You know what I mean? Think about Youngboy. Youngboy, he was one of the ones that did not hide what he would go through. He did not hide how wicked he was and how wicked the industry was promoting him. You know what I mean? Even look at Jamal Rashad. He got put in jail himself for speaking truth, from using his throat chakra. But you see what he got lit for. He was a life path 3. He got viral for speaking on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Just using his throat chakra, he got millions of views. I did the same thing. I got on TikTok, Instagram, and just spoke, and now I get thousands of views. Like, I have over millions of views on Instagram because of me just using my throat chakra, using what my planetary energies are that are aligned inside of me. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's going to automatically, it's going to magnetize more quickly. If I'm a life path 3 and I'm speaking truth, I'm going to magnetize a good reality more quickly than if I'm doing something that's not in alignment with that energy. You know what I mean? If I'm a life path 4, that means I'm good at building things. So that means I'm supposed to be doing some kind of constructive things with people in order to get things done. And I bet you 9 times out of 10, a million times out of 10, that person will be abundant in what they do because they're using their planetary energies. This is how the elite have been using our community for so long, as rappers, as artists, as actors, as politicians, because they understand planetary and numerical energies. You know what I mean? So they understand that this person, no matter what they do, especially if we put them in the spotlight, they will gravitate millions of people because they have this 3 energy, this Jupiter energy in them, or this astrological kind of energy in them that will draw people to them. So all we have to do is put them on a big platform and let them talk, and they will attract people, and people will believe them. People will believe in them just based on their planetary energy, and they will not pick, and they will have somebody that's smarter than them, that can talk better than them, that won't accumulate as many viewers because of the energy that that person has. And then they use that on rappers, you know what I mean? They use that on young boys. They use that on most of the people that are screaming out about the mischief today in the rap industry. They use the science on them while they're young because the children don't know their power, so they invert their power. You know what I mean? This is what these labels do. It's called the cabal. They invert your planetary energy. They invert your light. They anti-Christo you. They anti-Christ you, basically. They turn you to the antichrist by inverting your Christic energy, because all this science is Christic science. Like, this science is the blueprint of manifestation. This is the blueprint of individualization and unification. So Christ consciousness is about unification, and also about understanding manifestation and incarnating into other densities, you know what I mean, and building up other densities. Anti-Christic is the opposite, is about tearing apart densities and tearing apart, fragmenting things away from each other, you know what I mean? So they use these planetary energies like that, you know what I mean? But this is why you have all the power inside your soul to understand how you can magnetize your reality by using these planetary energies. And you don't really need nothing in your reality to use these planetary energies, you know what I mean? Most people in America have clothes with colors on them. Every planetary energy has a color. Most people get tattoos. Most people have pens. You could write a planetary energy every day, you know what I'm saying? Look at it and do a prayer on that planetary energy. Call on the planet, you know what I mean? Or just call on the light. Call on, or just, and you will magnetize that energy towards you, you know what I mean? You could be in a dark room, you could be trapped. This is where things like this really come in handy, when you have nothing else to rely on but the inner self. Like some people like to call it magic, because the inner self is so, to some people the inner self is so far out and so like majestic to people that they call utilizing the knowledge of the inner self magic, when it's just knowledge of the inner self, you know what I mean? But when you really get into a place where you have no physical objects around you but yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like in a jail cell, or you get trapped somewhere, or you so depressed you can't move. The only place you have to go is to the inner self and use these energies. You know what I mean? That's a good thing about hitting rock bottom. That's why there's a such thing as a wave. That's why a wave goes up and down. There will not be a wave without a down. You know what I mean? There will not be an up without a down. So this is why understanding how sometimes we hit so rock bottom. Sometimes we hit so rock bottom just so that we could tap into these planetary energies that are dormant inside of us, or these Christic energies that are dormant inside of us. You know what I mean? All these beings that you believe that exist outside of you are parts of your consciousness that can be utilized. You know what I mean? All these beings around you can be utilized for your good. Because 99% of all the gods, goddesses, false idols that have been perpetuated through history's time are archetypes of these 7 planetary energies, even though I don't have it on here right now because I don't have a eraser. But 99% of all of these deities, entities, are either Christic versions, Christ-like versions of these planetary energies, or anti-Christic versions of these planetary energies. Like Satan himself is the inverted planetary energy of Venus and Saturn. You know what I mean? Satan and Lucifer, so-called, are the inverted perceptions that people have embodied. You know what I'm saying? These are energies that people embody, not that people created. These are energies that people embody. Some people embody the other polarity of reality, you know what I mean? And that other polarity is anti-Christos. And that's the opposite reality of the Christic reality. Some people embody that. And that's what they call, some people give it names, Satan, Lucifer. But it's really just the embodiment of the opposite pole. You know what I mean? You can't demonize none of these planets because these planets are just archetypes, and people don't know how to use their own energy. You know what I mean? Because whenever somebody goes crazy, it's because a planetary energy has went off course. You know what I'm saying? When people turn into murderers, one of these planetary energies, one of the aura fields had got infiltrated and got off course by an outside entity or vibration. And then it acted upon their physical body for them to go do heinous crimes or just go waste their life doing drugs or just doing things like that because their planetary bodies wasn't rotating correctly around them. Their energy got hacked. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, family, it's a little video on understanding your planetary energies. The last gem I'm about to drop for y'all today is the secrets behind the Scorpio constellation and why Scorpios are so powerful and why October is a gateway to higher celestial energies and why they inverted that energy into Halloween in the time of Scorpio when we are directly connected or directly aligned to Polaris, which is the center sun of the galaxy. You know what I mean? That's a center star. That's a star that doesn't move inside of our sky for millions of years because it's the center sun. It's the first star that creates all other lights. You know what I mean? So during, basically, and this is where also the secrets of the 13th zodiac sign comes from. The 13th zodiac sign is Ophiuchus. But if you look on the zodiac wheel, Scorpio, this is the zodiac wheel. Scorpio is right here. This is Scorpio. I'm gonna do the tail. This is Ophiuchus. They're right next to each other, but Scorpio is actually under Ophiuchus. So Ophiuchus is not really the 13th zodiac sign, but it is the 13th constellation. But it's also like the gateway into other realities. You know what I'm saying? Other dimensions, other parallel realities, and higher forms of vibration in the center of the galaxy. In the center sun, basically the true world, the place where true things come from. You know what I mean? That's why Scorpios are ruled by two planets, Mars and Pluto, because Mars equals the light. That's the part of Scorpio that is tapped into the physical realm. The moon controls the darkness, and that's the part of the Scorpio that is tapped in to the things that are not manifested yet, and that's unlimited potential. So Scorpios have this access to unlimited potential wherever you have the Scorpio inside of your chart. You have access to that kind of energy in unlimited potential if you know how to activate and basically just orchestrate your reality. You know what I mean? Really, if you just start to orchestrate reality, everything will align for you with these planets. But understanding that Ophiuchus is literally the center to Lyra, So basically, on your road, like if you was to actually take a starship and cruise, if you actually take a starship and cruise down, goddamn, and cruise through the universe and try to go to Polaris, the center sun, zoom. If you go to the center sun, you will pass through the two major constellations that deal with planetary civilization in all of the galaxies, and that's the Lyran constellation and the Draco constellation. The Draco constellation is the closest to the center of Polaris, the center sun, Polaris. You know what I mean? And you could actually Google this yourself. You could look it up. You could get a telescope. You could get the app called Sky Tonight. It will show you. You could take your phone and look. It shows you all the constellations around you. It will show you that the Draco constellation is the closest constellation to the center of the sun. The Draco constellation is also the planetary frequencies that create the reptilian brain that creates survival and base instincts for survival. After that is Lyran. Another big one is Lyran. Then the Lyrans and the Dracos have a big, huge war, and that's what created a lot of hybrid races and a lot of things. And that's also where the story of Adam and Eve came from, and the story of Satan and God, you know what I'm saying, came from the same story of the Dracos and the Lyrans going through a war. But going through this constellation, you hit Ophiuchus and then you hit Scorpio. So that's letting you know Scorpio is a broad opener, broadcaster frequency for draconian frequencies and Lyran energies. The Lyrans are the cat beings. The Lyrans are the feline lions, the leonines, the Anahazi, all of these different higher aspects of consciousness that we call Lyrans. You know what I mean? That exist inside the 12th dimension. The Draconians, you know what I'm saying? Which are also a part originally, you know what I'm saying? But before the split, remember how I told you everything was not fragmented? Remember I told you that the 7 planetary energies were all one before it got fragmented? And all the planetary energies together, like Saturn, Venus, Mars, together creates Tara, the whole planet, the original planet, inside the second density. That's the second density of Earth. The second density is the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensions of Earth, which is called Tara, is composed of all of the planetary energies combined. So just like we are inside a 12th dimensional matrix, in the 13th dimensional matrix before everything was split, everything was one. But at the split, we have Draconians, which is like the highest, the lower self, the physical, versus the Lyrans, which are the spiritual, the nature. You know what I mean? Technology, Draconians, nature, Lyrans. You know what I mean? Even though some Lyrans develop technology. But I'm just saying, during this time of October, this war starts to brew between Draconian thought forms and Lyran thought forms. And I'm not even gonna lie, I am more attuned to the Lyran thought forms. You know what I mean? But also, I have some Draconian energies that deal with protection, because we all know that the base of the brain, which is survival and protection, is really the part of the brain that keeps you out the way of people that are going to harm you. So you need this Draconian part of the brain, or dragon. You know what I'm saying? These names are the names that they create. These are not the actual real names of the constellations. These are names that some scientists decided to give these names. But it's really the dragon. Before it's Draconian, because what is Dre? It's drama. What is Dre? Dragon. What is Khan? It's the trick. What about Dragon? Dra is the dragon. Gon is orgon energy, organization. You know what I'm saying? Orgon is positive energy. Organization is getting things together. So it's actually the dragon. You know what I'm saying? The dragons are actually the most ancient race of beings when it comes to consciousness And during this time of October, this portal is open on the planet. This is why they have Halloween, because these entities, or these so-called entities, or higher vibrations of thought forms, are higher access. And then you have a polarity thing going on this planet, where you have so-called good and bad, basically. Draconian and Lyra, basically. And this good and bad polarity is being harvested during this time of October, right? But instead of harvesting negative energies, let's get together and combine things. Let's learn how to become alchemists. Alchemists combine things that should not go together and create something beautiful. That's basically the whole excerpt of today, was combining things together. Combining numerology, combining numerology and astrology together. You know what I'm saying? To create a holy trinity, basically. But during this time of October, so basically most people who are born in this gateway of October are either Draconian starseeds or Lyran starseeds. I'm a Scorpio, October 29th. I'm a Lyran starseed. I have lion hair, you know what I'm saying? I have a lion energy. I have, let's say, feline cat energy, you know what I'm saying? I have, but let's not forget, the Lyrans are the most evolved predators on the planet. I mean, the tigers and the felines on this planet are the most evolved predators on this planet. They have the most heightened spiritual abilities out of mostly all the animals on this planet. So thinking about, and also when it comes to understanding astrology, Leo controls the earth. So really everybody like that, everybody is controlled by Leo. And all the other constellations, all the other zodiac signs and numbers and planetary energies rotate around the lion. You know what I'm saying? Or the Elo. If you do whatever it is when you mix words up, you got Leo. But if you rewrite this, the E first, because it's a vowel, the L, Elo, for what? Elohim. The Elohim, right? So really, the center is the Elo, which is the Elohim, which is the body. Because the Elohim are literally the creators of the universe. The Elohim is what we call God before we had an English language. It was Elohim before we came up with an English language to call him God. And God is not even the actual name of the being, it's Elohim. Because the L stands for electricity, gives life. Electricity. You know what I'm saying? Elevation, evolution, all of these L words, you know what I'm saying? Elevate, electricity, election, elected. Think about it. So the Elo, or the Leo, all the constellations rotate around the Leo Elo. You know what I'm saying? That's the last that's the last gem for today. You know what I mean? I will be getting deeper soon into planetary energies and all that sooner or later. You know what I mean? Also understanding that crystals also have these planetary energies inside of them too. Most crystals are ruled by the planetary energy of Saturn. You know what I mean? So when it comes to crystals, clear quartz is composed of oxygen and silicon. Oxygen is the 8th element on the periodic table. The 8 is Saturn, right? Silicon is the 14th element on the periodic table. 1 plus 4 equals 5. That's the Mercury, right? Silicon is used in mostly all technological devices to transfer your thoughts via text or on the internet. The internet is the internal net of thoughts. You know what I mean? Everything on the internet is somebody's thoughts. So 5, which deals with the Mercury energy, which connects to thought or thought, is this energy of the clear quartz crystal. You know what I mean? So if you have this Saturn energy, you might want a Mercury energy. You might want to get you a clear quartz crystal to align you to your energy more. You know what I mean? You also have copper crystals. Malachite is a copper crystal. Azurite is a copper crystal. Malachite and Azurite have Venusian energies inside of them because Azurite and Malachite were actually believed in ancient Egypt to promote beauty and to fix your mind and to fix your vision. You know what I'm saying? Azurite is a vision stone. Malachite is a transformational stone and a protection stone and good for opening up the heart chakra. You know what I mean? And fertility, good for life. Azurite is good for understanding life and understanding connection to higher forms of life. You know what I mean? Azurite is a copper crystal that is blue. Malachite is a copper crystal that is green. I have an Azurite crystal right here. This is an Azurite for you. I have a Malachite crystal also. Malachite crystal right here. This is a Malachite for you. Azurite, Malachite. Copper crystals. These crystals are said to promote beauty, promote fertility. These are all Venusian energies. You know what I mean? So if you have this Venusian energy, which I do, you might want to get you some copper. Just pure copper. Copper is a metal that's connected to Venus. If you are connected to the sun, get you some gold. If you're born on the first year of life path 1, get you something that's connected to the sun. Some sunstone, citrine, some tiger's eye, or some gold to connect to the sun energy. You know what I mean? Or just wear yellow. These crystals right here are copper crystals, and they said to promote beauty. Remember, Venus is connected to the 6th chakra. This color right here heals this crystal right here called Azurite heals brain disorders. And also, Azurite is also the name of the imprint that the humans were created from. So basically, before we were humans, we were a higher, more advanced being of humans called the Azurite race. And we created this crystal. You know what I mean? And this crystal too, we created all these crystals, come from the Lyran constellation, a feline type race. That's what a lot of indigos are on this planet. That's what the indigos are, you know what I'm saying? But understanding that, then you have other stones. You know what I mean? Other stones that promote this energy inside of your body. You know what I mean? You have Mercury, you have Venus, you have Mars, you have any iron, any crystal with iron inside of it is a crystal that has Mars energy. Here goes a tourmaline, which is a iron silicate type crystal. This crystal protects you from negative energy. This crystal right here absorbs 5G radiation and negative emotions coming off of other people and transmutes it into neutral energy. You know what I mean? Even though this crystal has to be cleansed every so often, this crystal is a crystal of Mars because it's protection, it's protective. Look how black it is, it keeps things away. Mars is the energy of justice, light, protection, and keeping things away. You know what I mean? That's why they use swords made out of iron. Swords keep things away. They have iron stakes that go into the house that protect from demons because iron keeps things away. Iron absorbs electromagnetic radiation, which most demons are nothing but electromagnetic radiation that's harmful, and they can get trapped inside of crystals. That's why you have a lot of crystals around you. You are trapping electromagnetic entities, so-called demons inside of the crystals to protect you from outside entities. You know what I'm saying? Thought forms. Every thought form is a spirit. We have to stop making things so how you doing? You good?